What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel, who I think will be the third man in the Paul Heyman alliance, the dangerous alliance, whatever you want to call it. I ultimately think, who is it? Who is it? Now, we did this video a little differently. I'm gonna have people who aren't it, and then I'm gonna have people who I think are the person, I guess, who I think will. Now, originally, I had a top three for this video. I was going to talk about the top three, my three candidates. Then I had a top two because I changed one. Then I was really looking and I'm like, well, actually, that doesn't make any sense right now to me. So I looked at my top one. This is who I'm picking. Now, it's a theory, just what I think, and it's just off of really one line, one single line at Raw today. So let's talk it. Let's go through it. Let's get started. So who is out? Becky Lynch. So originally I thought Becky Lynch would make a really good contender. Then I started thinking about it, and you're going to hear that statement in a while. IC title runs. I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's going to go for the IC title, win the IC title, make it really good. And I think it is going to be a guy out of this alliance. Now, could they do the future of wrestling and put Roxanne Perez here? I still feel like it could be a possibility, but Becky Lynch, I'm fully counting out. Austin Theory. Austin Theory's a really interesting one. I thought it made a lot of sense to do Austin Theory, but now got me thinking. The way they're setting up this Grayson Waller thing still feels like a babyface turn. Doesn't make sense for this alliance. The way they still have Austin Theory here, he's still getting beat. If he was going to join this alliance, I would have him starting to get wins. Austin Theory needs to do it, but I don't think they will. And for that reason, I just really think Austin Theory is kind of out on here, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I just think because of the babyface turn and everything that's going on, it's not going to likely happen. Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes was somebody I was really high on. With the Miz story, I feel like they're not going to make it. Carmelo Hayes, I think, would be really good as a heel, would really make sense for the future of the WWE. Savvy, I think they're going to try and keep him solo because he has a lot of potential. I still feel like they should do it because if you're Seth Rollins, I think you should have two future stars, and you would say, this is the future of this division. You make it Carmelo Hayes. But with the Miz story, I think ultimately that's going to be a singles push already for him. So hard to say Miz story will kind of get Carmelo Hayes in there. So we'll see for a little. Roxanne Perez was one that I really, really loved. And I really, really thought made a lot of sense. I thought you give a man, and a woman, and you have these two be the future of WWE that Seth Rollins is helping. Roxanne Perez made a lot of sense to go after for CM Punk. Roxanne Perez costing CM Punk a win would be like literally tragedy. It would get internet going insane. Made so much sense for me. But now I got some questions. She has these Julia ties, which I'm like kind of iffy about. I'm like, why is this happening? I don't think it should happen. To me, it doesn't make a whole ton of sense in my eyes. I think it ultimately should not be happening because they were going against each other literally in January. Now they're best friends. Okay. She's going for the top women's division already in Raw, which is really good signs for Roxanne Perez. I know she just got pinned by Io Sky. Everyone's like, oh, they're burying Roxanne Perez already. How are they burying Roxanne Perez? She literally is going against the top women's championship right now, in my opinion. That's insane. It's insane. Solo act is fine, I think, with Roxanne Perez. I think she has everything to do it. Why is she talking to Finn in the background? What is going on with that? That's a big consideration that I'm like a little bit a little bit questionable about. My hairs. I always said I need a haircut. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I really am confused about that. But man, I want it to be Roxanne Perez so bad. I don't think you understand how badly I want Roxanne Perez to do it. But with the Julia ties, it just takes it all away from me. Ethan Page. So this was another one that I was really, really high on. But now thinking about it, I don't think he's going to go to NXT to WWE main event. I think it's going to take some time. Now, how does that happen? I don't know. Does it make sense for Ethan Page, who was in AEW, to come to WWE and Seth Rollins teams with him when his whole shtick is the future of WWE, went through the systems, Roxanne Perez went through the systems, would make sense. Ethan Page didn't. And also, Ethan Page is a year older than Seth Rollins. Not really the future. So, again, another person that I think could make a lot of sense, not going to join, because I think, yes, it makes a lot of sense with how he's doing storyline-wise. Motives, future, jumping all the way to the main event scene, likely not. Likely not. Karrion Kross. So this was my 2. This was the second person. I had Roxanne Perez, Karrion Kross, and who I think is going to be it. I'm just going to give you a spoiler warning. Bronson Reed's not on here. Drew McIntyre's not on here. Anybody like that, not on here. Karrion Kross is my 2. Because 1, that promo to me felt like Karrion Kross was saying I would have taken that offer. I would have easily made that offer. It makes a lot of sense for him to take the offer. Now I started thinking about it. Karrion Kross is like 37, I think. Oh, no, wait. No, Karrion Kross is older than Seth Rollins. Ethan Page is 4 years younger than Seth Rollins. That's what it was. I looked it up. That's what it was. Karrion Kross is older than Seth Rollins. The biggest thing is Scarlett, his literal wife. I just have to be honest with you. I don't see how they do a storyline now, realizing with Karrion Kross in this faction with Scarlett. Does he leave Scarlett for this? Like storyline wise? I don't think that should happen. I think it should be solo act Karrion Kross. I think it should be him really joining this, because I think it would make a huge push and it could be really good for him with Braun Breaker, with Paul Heyman. That would be insane. His promo skills are amazing. I think he's better as a solo act. I don't know how they do it with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Now, here's my pick. Gotta be honest with you, it's gonna be controversial, but it's off of a lot of different things that I have been thinking about ever since this Raw, and how I feel about this, and how I'm thinking about the future of how this plays out. My pick is Logan Paul. I think it's going to be Logan Paul. I really do. I'm now realizing why, and I'm going to give you some pointers, and I'm going to give you some pointers why I don't think it's happening. One, let's first talk about why this could not happen. I feel like let's go with the negative, then we'll go with the positive. Negatively, Logan Paul could already be good as a solo act. You don't really need to. So Logan Paul by himself already brings in and I mean so much draw. You don't really need him to be with a faction. Logan Paul is already insane. Why would he need a Paul Heyman? Why would he need to team up with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker? Doesn't make sense. Now. Let's talk about the why. Something I didn't add on the side. I have 2 things I didn't add that I still want to talk about. I'll talk about that, then I'll talk about these 3. Logan Paul has real life hate. People hate Logan Paul. People hate. Real life, wet him off. This faction is loved by the fans. They love Paul Heyman. They love Seth Rollins. They love Braun Breaker. That's the truth about it. To give him go away heat, you could really give Logan Paul into this faction to really give and show these are heels. These are real heels. Now, do they want to do that? I don't know. But I ultimately believe that could be really good to be a real heel faction if that's what they're going for. The other thing I think of is I think they're going to try and push Logan Paul to the main event and ultimately make him go for main event titles. Now, could that be Money in the Bank briefcase? Okay, that could be the way. But I think joining a faction like this pushes him to the main event and the main ideas for WWE without title contention. For example, think of the tag team matches he could have. Think of him joining certain main event scenes with, let's say, a triple threat match, or not triple threat, just matches in general. Say he's just going to go against legends. I mean, Logan Paul joining this faction is a way to be in the main event without him actually going for titles, which, me personally, I don't want him to go for titles. Now let's talk about the three on the side. I'll go from the bottom because I think the first point's the biggest point. Youthful with views. So now a counterpoint to the views thing that I said, that he already brings enough draw. Well, at the same time, Logan Paul joining this faction brings so much attention to a Braun Breaker, a Seth Rollins, a Paul Heyman in the main event scene for WWE and Raw. Those eyes for Logan Paul that Logan Paul already draws in kind of gets it going to show and really show out for this faction and kind of keeps growing this faction. So in my eyes, I think does him joining really make a little bit better of a faction and kind of gives more attention to the faction. I also think he's very youthful, where you could still say young stars in this, and Logan Paul is a future star. The only thing, another negative that I want to say that I didn't say is Seth Rollins with Logan Paul is something that I think is a little bit questionable. I don't think Logan Paul was built into WWE, so it could be against Seth Rollins kind of ideal, where he was kind of like an outside visitor just joining in. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman loves Logan Paul. Paul Heyman thinks Logan Paul will ultimately be a star, and he has kind of it. He kind of went on the Impulsive podcast. He kind of talked to Logan Paul how he was a little talented. I mean, ultimately, Paul Heyman really showed that he loves Logan Paul and thinks he is very talented. Would a Paul Heyman Logan Paul thing kind of work? I think it could. I think Logan Paul's mic skills could be a little bit questionable. They have some good stuff, but he is incredible in ring. So kind of fits a Paul Heyman guy. Now, this is why I'm making this video. Granted, I could throw out all the theories. I really think at this point in the kind of discussion that it's either no one's going to be a part of this faction. These are my picks: Roxanne, Sammy, still Becky somehow. No one, Logan Paul, Ethan Page. I guess that's really it, or someone later on. Now the reason why I'm making this video is because there was a line that Paul Heyman said. Paul Heyman said he was so focused on Logan Paul and the match, preparing for Logan Paul, that when we came around, we swept in and he wasn't ready for Seth Rollins. Now, to me, that could really sound like either you could say Paul Heyman asked Logan Paul to do this. He's secretly the third guy. Logan Paul came in and purposely tried to distract Jey Uso, so then Seth Rollins the next week could come in and immediately have this match against him and could try to win it, but CM Punk did all that. That's what I feel like they could say, where Logan Paul is secretly working for Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. He was trying to bait in Jey Uso, something like that. I think ultimately they might have a, 3-on-3 match where Logan Paul's announced as the second guy, or they have Jey Uso and Sammy, or Jey Uso or Sammy Punk versus Braun Breaker and whoever could throw in Jay there. I ultimately believe that Logan Paul is just the guy. I think the distractions, I think the fact that he was there to be the aftermath killer for them in all black. I am starting to just think that Logan Paul could slightly be working there. And I think ultimately this will lead to Logan Paul maybe finding out and joining this. Because after he beat AJ Styles, I get that he could go for these titles. But I really do believe it's either Money in the Bank or they're going to reveal him here so he can be in this main event scene. Just a theory. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.